We have the main person that I believe is always here for Islam, and that's Khabib. He is basically running the whole program, really. I do little bits and parts here and there. I become more of a mentor type than actually the head coach now, and I like my role. I do less work, but I also get to watch someone like Khabib take over with the great honor and joy it gives me to see how great of a coach he is, and to see all the guys and how much they're learning from him. It's a big joy to see someone take over where you were before and how great they're doing.
Islam, mashallah, look amazing. Khabib come here, change the energy of the whole camp. They become like, it's like the army here, it's military. Everybody on time, everybody training good. We having fun, enjoy.
Ассаламу алейкум. Сегодня здесь, короче.
Я что, не знаю, что это тяжело стоять 5 минут, отжимание, отжимание, отжимание? Или вы думаете, что я ее никогда не делал? Или вы думаете, что я ее на себе не пробовал? Вы так думаете? Просто интересно, вот те люди, которые на меня вот такими глазами смотрят. Как вы думаете, я ее сам делал? Вот зубы, как ты думаешь, я делаю ее сам? Я сейчас ее делаю, мне 38 год. В этом году 6 лет, как я сколько стал. То, что вы делаете, я сейчас делаю. Я знаю, что это тяжело, но эти упражнения, особенно планка, когда отжимания стоим, отжимания стоим, отжимания стоим, когда руки горят, тяжело, устал, накопилось, это и есть психологическая работа, ментальная работа. Вот когда у тебя тяжело, ты вон там находишься. Тяжело, ты там, тяжело, ты там, тяжело, ты там. Мы в начале кемпа делали, просто вы это не замечаете. Мы в начале кемпа стояли 2 минуты. Если кто помнит. Мы с 2 начали. Кемп закончился. Отжимания, отжимания, отжимания. Мы где-то разов 10-15 делаем. Между 10 и 15 по 5 раз. Еще стоим 5 минут. Это хорошая работа.
Сильный, мудрый. Махасик, выходи, родной, выходи. Это все про тебя было, Махасик. Благородный. На ноги вставай, Махасик. На колено встань и вставай на ноги. И стряхивай его. Группируйся, Махас.
Did you hear the news about Islam fighting Gary?
No.
Who do you think would win that one?
I mean, Islam is champion and he has a lot of experience, but I think young Gary has a chance.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think so. Young Gary has to stop his takedowns, and striking, young Gary is very smart, calculated fighter.
John, please, one question for Russian MMA fans. Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary, what do you think about this fight?
Oh, I'm going with Islam because he has a wrestling background, and it's hard to beat wrestlers. So Islam, he may just be one of the greatest fighters in the world right now. It's me and maybe him. So I encourage him to keep going.
Thank you so much.
And you come across as very confident, and so this may be a crazy question. Why are you so confident when thinking about fighting Islam and beating Islam? Because more often than not, people don't look good against him.
That normally happens when people fight me, Ariel, too. Firstly, again, I have nothing but respect for him. I think he's absolutely cemented himself as the best fighter on the planet right now, and until he's beaten, he holds that status. What he's done in this career, in his career and over the last decade in the sport has been second to none. A 2-weight world champion, pound for pound #1, and on the verge of breaking the longest consecutive win streak in UFC history. It's nothing but exception. However, I've always said to you from the first time you spoke, well before I was in the UFC, to be the best, you have to beat the best. There is nobody else I would want to beat to prove that I'm the champion of the world. There is nobody else I'm more excited to fight and test myself against than this dominance in Islam Makhachev. He's earned that title as the pound for pound champion, at the pound for pound #1 on the planet right now. That's the guy I want to take out. To me, to make sure that it's undeniable. When I beat him, I am the best welterweight on the planet.
As Islam Makhachev is enduring yet another grueling training camp with Khabib Nurmagomedov, his upcoming opponent Ian Gary is not keeping his mouth shut. Gary has been making statement after statement about the champion of the lightweight division, doubting his style of fighting and chances of victory. However, amidst all the verbal battles that have been going on, there seems to be one thing that Makhachev has his eye on: how to put up yet another strong performance in the octagon. Is Gary getting under Makhachev's skin, or is he motivating him even further? Opinions from experts are still coming in stronger than ever.
You've had plenty of time to visualize the fight. What are you seeing now? What are you feeling?
Ariel, I genuinely right now, it's by any means necessary. My hand gets raised by any means necessary. It could be first round knockout, it could be fifth round knockout, it could be submission, it could be a dog and dog back and forth war. As long as my hand gets raised, I've succeeded in achieving everything I want to achieve in the sport. And I do it against one of the best fighters we've generationally seen.
What about what he's saying about you telling training partners not to hit you? Is that accurate?
They try. Ariel, I don't know how many fights I've had in this one. Am I 17-1, 18-1? I don't know. I've had 25 plus fights in my life in MMA, and I'm this pretty. No cuts, no scars, no nothing. Barely any cauliflower and nothing. There's a reason for that. My defense and my fight IQ is second to none in this game. The more fights I have, the more people are going to understand and respect it. And I think that's why he's saying all these things, is he knows this is a tricky fight. And when he goes to bed and just before he's about to close his eyes, he goes, this is going to be tougher than I think. And he can say what he wants to the camera, but to himself, internally within his team, they don't have someone that emulates my style. They don't have someone with these eyes. These are what makes this fight different.
And I'm telling you right now, this fight for Islam Makhachev may be a lot harder than what people think. Given all of the accolades that Islam Makhachev has, it's easy to just dismiss Ian Gary and say, listen, he's going to just run right through him. Okay, you could send him to Dagestan or Georgia for 20 years and still forget all about it.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Okay, because Islam Makhachev is the GOAT. He's going to take him down. The man's Irish. They don't wrestle in Ireland, for crying out loud. Well, guess what? He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's 17-1. He had a very, very close fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Ended the fight threatening the rear naked choke. He beat the former champion Belal Muhammad that wrestled the life out of Leon Edwards, okay? So this is a real fight. Before you start to think that this is just going to be one-way traffic, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot tougher than what you think.
So when I tell you that Ian Gary believes he's going to beat Islam Makhachev, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to come out right now and I'm going to make a prediction for you. This fight's going to be huge. And by the way, Islam about a month ago started teasing on his social media that he's got a big announcement coming soon. And I took a great joy in being able to inform Islam, no, you don't. There is nothing huge out there for Islam Makhachev. There was, and it was Ilia Topuria. It's now gone. And it's just because he's so good. John Jones had the same problem. Roy Jones Jr. in boxing had the same problem. They say, as a matter of fact, and I was told this by an executive on campus at ESPN, the worldwide leader of sport, that the only athlete that can get people to come watch for his greatness was Michael Jordan. That even though the fans knew no one's going to touch him, no one's going to stop him, the score is going to be off the charts, they couldn't wait. They'd buy a t-shirt, they'd wait in line, they'd pay a premium just to witness that level of greatness.
Ian Gary has answered back to the recent criticism of his boxing style made by Islam. According to the boxer, Islam had accused him of being an outside fighter who avoids exchanges, but the Irish contender was not willing to engage in a heated debate on styles. The boxer referred to the fights of Islam himself, saying that he does not care about any debates concerning other fighters' styles at all. He will let his stats speak for themselves, since he feels confident that his successes inside the octagon are enough to prove anything before their long-awaited match.
So I want to ask you about something he said very recently to Red Corner MMA. He said, my prediction for this fight, I will have to chase after him. He's not an aggressive fighter. He won't attack me himself. He'll run and try to catch me with something, but I won't let him. He doesn't even want people touching him. When his teammates enter training camp, he says, don't touch me. He then continued and said, style-wise, he's a tricky fighter. He constantly run away. I wouldn't call him an entertaining fighter. Morales, for example, can wrestle. He goes forward. What is your reaction to what he's saying?
I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the guy, but I don't necessarily care for his opinion on what I do or what my fighting style is. Coming from the man who sat on the champion of the world for 25 minutes and a half guard and didn't get a finish. Do you know what I mean? I don't think talking about other people's styles is a bickering match I'm willing to get into. Guess what I am? I'm 10-1 in the UFC.
Gary did not let up there. Rather, Gary intensified his stance that he is the most difficult stylistically opponent that Islam has had in a long time. Using his own success within the UFC as an example, Gary stated that his toughness and consistency were evident enough in their own right. Gary added that Islam seemed to have more inclination in taunting other potential opponents because he was well aware of the difficulty that Gary would pose for him. Gary claimed that with his physicality and technical skills, he had everything it takes to give Islam a tough challenge.
Here's another one for you, Aaron.
Okay.
You've not seen me sparked and conscious in the UFC. I've seen Islam sparked and conscious in the UFC. You've not seen me dominate in this sport. We've not seen him dominate in this sport. You've seen my hand get raised time and time and time again. You've seen his hand get raised time and time and time again. The truth is, I have this feeling in my heart that they know I'm the trickiest opponent for him. That's why he's calling out Patches. That's why he's calling out Morales. That's why the champion of the world, one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen, called out Kamaru Usman to defend his world title fight against. Does that make sense? He knows I'm long, I'm tall, I'm fast, I'm rangy, I understand distance management and control.
In regard to this point, Gary noted that being described as having a defensive approach by some critics is just a demonstration of his top-notch expertise. In Gary's opinion, he can hardly be touched due to his perfect movement and unpredictability. Moreover, Gary underlined his proficiency in defending takedowns from the top contenders. In his opinion, he has everything needed to be called the worst opponent for the champion in question. Judging from his successful fights ever since becoming part of the UFC team, Gary is sure he is capable of solving the issue that was impossible for almost every fighter who faced Islam. Gary ended his statement by delivering a clear warning that this is what the fans deserve and what it will take to put the controversy to rest. He dismissed all statements made prior to the fight, saying that none of it will matter once the doors to the cage close. Gary says his sole intention is to win no matter what and walk out of there wearing the title belt. When asked if the current champion really respects him as a contender, Gary said if not before, then after their meeting in the octagon, he surely will. Gary also commented on comparisons that have been made between this particular fight and the legendary Ireland versus Dagestan fight that had taken place during another era of the UFC. Gary dismissed any claims that the fight is just a rehash of what happened before, since such comparisons have done little to market the fight. On the other hand, he conceded that being able to represent Ireland in the greatest fighting arena in the sport means a lot to the fight. For him, this is a case of Ireland versus Dagestan again, and he wants history to change its course. On the other side, the rising fame of Islam has been enough for one of the greatest competitors in the UFC to recognize him, and that competitor is Jon Jones. Expressing his opinion about the outcome of the fight, Jones expressed belief in the win of Islam against Ian Gary and cited the high-level wrestling skills of the champion as the reason why. Jones argued that those who have excellent skills in wrestling are very hard to beat, especially if we talk about a championship-level fighter. Moreover, Jones put Islam as one of the most talented mixed martial artists, saying there were just a few of such athletes. While many prominent names have sided with Islam, not everyone believes the champion is headed for an easy night. Former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping urged fans not to underestimate Ian Gary, arguing that the matchup is far more competitive than it appears on paper. Although Bisping acknowledged Islam's dominance and understood why so many expect his wrestling to dictate the fight, he emphasized that Gary is a complete mixed martial artist with the skills to create problems. Pointing to Gary's strong record and his competitive showing against elite opposition, Bisping suggested this title fight could prove far more challenging for Islam than many are predicting. Bisping went on to explain exactly why he believes Gary has a realistic path to victory. He admitted that if Islam is able to secure early takedowns and impose his dominant grappling, the champion will likely control the fight. However, he argued that Gary's height, reach, footwork, and disciplined striking could make that task much more difficult than expected. According to Bisping, Gary has the patience to stick to a game plan, using his movement, jabs, kicks, and distance management to frustrate the champion over 5 rounds. While he isn't predicting an easy upset, Bisping believes fans are about to witness a far more competitive title fight than many anticipate. Another well-known voice to weigh in was Chael Sonnen, who believes Gary's confidence has created a far bigger fight than many expected. Sonnen argued that Gary genuinely believes he can dethrone Islam, making the matchup much more compelling. He also pointed out that Islam's dominance has made it difficult to find challengers capable of generating excitement, comparing the champion's situation to other legendary athletes whose greatness often left them without obvious rivals. According to Sonnen, only a select few stars have been able to attract massive audiences based on their dominance alone, and Islam's continued success has placed him in a similarly unique position ahead of this title fight. Sonnen also broke down the stylistic battle, acknowledging that Gary's size and reach could present challenges for the champion. He noted that Gary has shown an ability to manage distance effectively, although he still believes Islam is one of the best in the sport at closing that distance. Sonnen explained that in theory, a long, disciplined striker can frustrate an elite wrestler by keeping the fight at the end of their punches. However, he cautioned that executing that strategy against someone of Islam's caliber is far easier said than done, arguing that very few mixed martial artists have consistently demonstrated that level of range control inside the cage. So, who have you got, Islam Makhachev or Ian Gary? Do you agree with the experts or are they getting it wrong? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.